What if the ordinary penny in your pocket right now was quietly holding on to a piece of American history worth far more than its face value? A small copper coin, worn from decades of change jars, pockets, and cash registers. It looks like every other penny. But in your hand sits 1967, one of the most emotionally charged years in modern American memory. A time of war, protest, hope, and transformation. And this tiny 1-cent piece? It witnessed it all. Today, we're diving deep into the 1967 Lincoln penny, the coin that feels so familiar yet carries hidden stories, surprising value, and a quiet power that keeps collectors obsessed. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you might never look at your spare change the same way again. Fade in on dramatic close-ups, soft light catching the copper glow, slow zooms across Lincoln's profile, the memorial's columns rising like ancient pillars. This isn't just metal, it's a time capsule. Let's travel back. 1967, the Vietnam War raged. The Summer of Love bloomed in San Francisco. Civil rights marches continued. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered powerful speeches. Apollo astronauts prepared for the moon. America was changing fast, and so was its money. The U.S. Mint was in the middle of a coin shortage crisis. To fight hoarding, they stopped putting mint marks on coins from 1965 through 1967. That's why your 1967 penny shows no mint mark. It could have come from Philadelphia, but the lack of that little D or S adds to its mysterious charm for collectors. Over 3 billion of these pennies were struck. Yes, billion with a B. Yet somehow, certain ones stand out like hidden treasures. Picture the bustling Philadelphia Mint. Massive presses stamping out millions of these coins every day. Workers in the 1960s surrounded by the clank and hum of machinery, creating history 1 cent at a time. Each penny carrying the weight of a nation in flux. Now let's look closer at the design that makes this coin so iconic. On the obverse, Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln. That strong, thoughtful profile gazing right, symbol of honesty and resilience. Liberty stands proudly to the left. In God we trust arches above. The date 1967 sits crisp to the right of Lincoln's shoulder. If you zoom in on a well-preserved example, you can almost feel the gravity of the man who held the country together during its darkest hour. Flip it over. Frank Gasparro's Lincoln Memorial Reverse, introduced in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birth anniversary. The grand building dominates the scene, with its columns and steps. If you look very carefully inside the memorial, there's a tiny seated figure of Lincoln himself, America's smallest sculpture on a coin. United States of America curves across the top, a pluribus unum above the building, and 1 cent at the bottom. A small designer's initials FG appear near the base. It's elegant, it's enduring. And in 1967, that copper composition, 95% copper, 5% zinc, gave it that warm, reddish glow that collectors crave in high-grade red examples. But here's where the suspense builds. Most people walk right past these coins. They miss the hidden details that separate an ordinary penny from a collector's prize. Take a magnifying glass, or better yet, imagine one zooming in dramatically. Look at the letters. On some 1967 pennies, you might spot subtle die deterioration doubling, especially around Liberty, where the L can appear crowded or slightly doubled. There are known doubled die obverse and reverse varieties, faint but thrilling when you catch them. Off-center strikes, die cracks, even rare misaligned dies where we trust shifts toward the rim. These aren't made-up treasures, they're real minting imperfections that turn everyday coins into numismatic gold. And then there are the special mint set, or SMS versions. In 1967, the mint produced only about 1.86 million of these specially struck coins for collectors. They have a sharper, proof-like finish, deeper cameo contrast on some examples. Finding one in pristine condition feels like discovering buried treasure from that turbulent year. Now the question everyone's waiting for: what is a 1967 penny actually worth? In circulated condition, the kind you find in your couch cushions, it's still just 1 cent. maybe a few cents to a dealer, but uncirculated examples in red color can climb higher. High-grade MS-67 red specimens have sold for thousands. And those elite SMS cameo pieces, one remarkable SP-68 example once hammered down for over $5,500 at auction. Not because it's flashy, but because it represents perfection from a specific moment in minting history. Condition is everything. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, eye appeal, and color. A beautiful original red luster versus a dull brown one can mean the difference between pocket change and serious money. That's the collector psychology at play. The thrill of the hunt, the emotional connection to owning a piece that survived decades untouched. Close your eyes for a second and picture it. A young soldier in 1967 pulling this penny from his pocket before shipping out. A family using it to buy milk during uncertain times. A kid dreaming of space while flipping the coin. That same penny now sits in your collection, linking you directly to their stories. It's not just metal, it's memory. But what if the coin you're holding right now has one of those rare errors? What if that slight imperfection you thought was damage is actually worth hundreds or more? The suspense of not knowing keeps millions of us checking our change. Coin collecting taps into something deeply human, the desire to preserve the past, to find meaning in small things, to connect across generations. Collectors don't just chase dollars, they chase stories. The quiet satisfaction of holding history, the rush when a seemingly ordinary find turns out to be special. In a world of digital everything, there's something profoundly grounding about a physical copper link to 1967. Imagine filming this coin under dramatic lighting, slow-motion spins, macro shots revealing every tiny scratch and detail, overlaying archival footage of 1967 protests, moon launches, and everyday American life. The penny becomes alive, a silent witness. So, next time you get change, take an extra second. Examine that 1967 Lincoln cent. Look for the strong strike, the red color, any anomalies in the design. Check those letters carefully. Feel its weight. Think about where it's been. What hidden story does your 1967 penny carry? Is it just another coin? Or the one that could change your collecting journey forever? The beauty of these coins is that they're still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. They remind us that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes the most powerful treasures are the ones we almost overlooked. If this journey through the 1967 1 cent got your heart racing, if it made you want to grab a magnifying glass and check your jars right now, hit that like button, share this with a friend who loves history or collecting, and subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, valuable finds, and the incredible stories they tell. Turn on notifications. You never know which everyday object will be our next big discovery. Drop a comment below. Have you ever found an old coin that surprised you? What year was it? Or tell me, what does the 1967 penny mean to you? Was it a year that touched your family's story? Thanks for watching. Keep hunting, keep wondering, and remember, history is in your hands, 1 cent at a time.